What's happening, everybody? It's been a while since I did a Seadoo reaction video, but here we go on the 2023 lineup for Seadoo. Now, the reason why I haven't done this yet is because I haven't even looked at it, kind of didn't go through what I've seen. So what we're seeing is based just on an initial reaction. I know that there's a couple new watercraft on the lineup, and I know that the Spark X wasn't announced yet, and I'll explain my thoughts on that afterwards. But let's get into the new watercraft this year. So this is Seadoo's new watercraft for Spark. As we're going to go over afterwards, there was no Spark X, but there's a new color for the Spark and Spark Tricks, and that's it. This is my favorite color, actually, for the Spark. Aside from the jalapeno one, this one is definitely up there. Now, as many of you know who watch this channel, my green Spark is by far my favorite Spark out there. And I really do hope that when the Spark X comes out, they come out with a similar color to that initial green. This one I don't like quite as much, but it's still very nice. But no changes to the Sparks other than colors. GTI, no changes other than colors. GTX, I'm pretty sure there's no changes to this as well. There is a new RXPX, and the differences, as far as I'm aware, isn't too crucial. And again, I don't really care about these skis. These don't rev my engines, if you will. You know, the Wake Pro, cool skis, also not for me. Now, the Fish Pro, this one I really did like. I like the fact that they introduced a cheaper Fish Pro Scout, but I would still go with the Trophy because of the seat. But no major changes to the Fish Pro as well. And here's the big one. The big change for Seadoo this year is the Explorer Pro. Now, people are criticizing some stuff with this from what I've seen so far, but this is me reacting to kind of what I see that's new with this. But I think this is a good idea. Number one. I don't think there's a huge market for it, though, and that's number two. I don't think touring skis are that sought after, but I could be wrong, and I think that these skis definitely have some good stuff to them that I'll explain afterwards that I can see so far. Now, as you can see here, that there's a link system, and there's a couple different, like boats have these rails up front for many different applications. I think this is a good idea. Also, the windshield is obviously the big question mark and why that's there and what I think is positive about it. Okay, let's go down. As you can see, it's 170 horsepower. It's a 1630 engine. Same thing as a lot of the different skis like the GTIs. And also, it's on the Switch as well, which we'll get into afterwards too. But yeah, 170 horsepower engine, really, you know, proven that the 1630 is out there as one of the best. So that's pretty cool. Now, the windshield, I like how they put this out there. They're like, oh my God, stay warm and dry, industry first, there's a windshield. Yeah, we've had this on snowmobiles for quite a bit of time, but in cold weather climates, and also when you're at night, which some areas you can do, some areas you can't, you can protect against bugs and all that good stuff when you're traveling at high rates of speed over time. It is nice to have a windshield, and I think this application could be used on many different skis. It looks ridiculous, kind of looks like a motorcycle, but I think it has a place in its own with jet skis for sure, or watercraft. Link Sport Bag, again, we know about the Link systems already. We know that they exist, and we know that there's, you know, it's been a huge positive, especially with the Fish Pro kind of guiding the, or, you know, the path with this. Front bumper. Okay, so that's what this is. It's a front bumper. Easily handling a unit when docking, beaching, departing, and whatever. Rugged look. Okay, I don't agree with the look part. I think it looks kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, I can see the benefits of it. What I also see from this right here, I like how it says man carrying Explorer bag next to Seadoo Explorer Pro. But what I see here is the ability to put rod holders on this might be a good idea. Now, these bumpers might look ridiculous, but they can be extremely functional when carrying equipment and also having rod holders or something in front of you. So that's what I can see that being used for. And here we go again with the Rotax 1630 engine. What do I think about this overall? I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to be a niche market. I don't think it's that important. I think you can do this with a Fish Pro more sufficiently, and also with that extendable seat and being able to fish. I think that's having a little bit better of a opportunity to do other stuff on the skis rather than just explore. This also has the Link system, which you can put more bags on and everything, so I think you would just buy a Fish Pro rather than an Explorer. Explorer is a little bit cheaper, but the ability to do more with the Fish Pro, if you're going to shell out $16,000 plus your commodity fees of $2,000 plus, you know, whatever else, you're going to be over $20,000 anyways. You might as well just shell out the additional couple of G's and get a ski that has more versatility. This is just my thoughts. Again, this has a fiberglass hole, and this one has a plastic hole. So that's another thing to note about that. I don't think this is going to change the market. I think it's a good idea. I think the windshield's a great idea. But other than that, not too many differences. Okay. Now let's get into the things that I believe is more important, which is the switch. One thing you may notice is a lot of changes with the switch, and weird ones too. So for instance, 130 horsepower, so they upped the tune from 100 to 130 and to 170. So they left the top end at the same, which is kind of sucky because I'd like to see a stock tune being pulled off of here and being able to put on other skis, or, you know, switches, which would be 190 horsepower, which is, I believe this is capable of, up to 200 perhaps, and we'll see pretty soon. And I got some good news about that too moving forward, and I'll get into that momentarily. But anyways, so the switch, as you can see, has some changes to it. Nothing too severe, but something good, which is the tune up to 130 horsepower, which we already spoke about. Another thing is we have no different colors, which is weird. I figured for sure that we would have different colors here. But also a price increase, which is stupid annoying. So you can see it starts at $2,177.99 rather than it used to be 18, under 20,000. But the reason of this is because quote unquote inflation and other things that kind of drive this as well. So you know, one thing I wanted to note was the switch. You were never able to get the 100 horsepower compact. It was just one of those things. Even though it was for sale, you could just never do it. And then that's the package starting at 22,000. So let's keep increasing. You know what I mean? So it says free trailer. What I've heard is now the trailers have come with extra pricing, which is kind of annoying. It used to be included in the price. Don't quote me on that, as it's very possible that you can change the orientation of these. And very well, like the last video I did on this in the past, they had changed everything about the switch. From the very first day that I looked at it, the next day they changed other things. The next day they, you know, you were able to change other things. But anyways, if you do a compact 130 horsepower in blue, it's still going to cost you $22,299, which is outrageous. I mean, that's crazy. And that's with a basic package. Again, you could probably change this to get a little bit cheaper, but I don't know. That's pretty pricey. This is what I paid for my Switch Compact Sport, and here's your commodity surcharge, and it says transport and preparation not included. So we'll get into this in another video of the cost, but yeah, there is a cost increase over the Switch Compact, and not even the Sport, just the base version. Now this, I'm hearing that the original Switch with 100 horsepower is only going 17 miles an hour and really difficult to get on plane. It's like using a Switch in eco mode. And I'm glad they did this, up-tuned it a little bit, because it was detuned way too far. However, as I stated in the first videos of mine on the Switch, these were actually pretty easy to tune. You can just take a base tune and jump it in. If you just Google Seadoo Switch Tune, you'd be able to see very easily that you can bring it from 100 to 170 without problems. So, and I stated that in the first video, and the reason why is because I noticed that they had the same motors, but just detuned. Okay, so here's another thing to note too. When I was talking about tunes when the first video came out, so I reached out to PWC Muscle regardless on the 100 horsepower to 170 tune, and I asked them if there was any tunes that you can kind of make beyond 170, and there's nothing out there yet, but my contact at PWC Muscle said that it's very possible that Riva is working on a tune and a impeller setup for the Switch to make it faster. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking forward to. I can start trying to tune it myself, but really I just got the boat and I really enjoyed it as it is. So 170 horsepower, I've hit 41 miles an hour, as you can see a video before this, and I really don't have a problem with it. You know, it seems like a pretty good, you know, speed overall for a boat, a jet boat out of all things, and without a supercharger. So I've been hearing a lot of supercharger problems, which again I might get into a video in the next one, but the main thing about this is I still really enjoy the Switch Compact Sport. I think it is a game changer, as I stated before. My Switch does 41 miles an hour, and I tested that on the GPS as well, and I've hit 41 so far with 4 people on it, so I can't complain. I'm hoping to hit about 50 once we get the impeller and we get the upgraded tune, so that's another thing to note. All right, so was there any differences in gear? We can't tell. Actually, this is the funny part. I meant to go over this too. Seadoo's been quote unquote under maintenance due to a hack for the last couple months and or weeks. Now, this is just, I believe this is just nonsense. They can probably take down their website and just recreate it. It takes only a couple minutes. I think they're doing this on purpose. Again, this is totally hearsay. This is just my thoughts. I think they don't have the parts available, so they're not allowing anybody to view it on the website. So, although I'd like to go over the parts, and I'd like to go over all of the info on what's new and available, the Switch is kind of where I'm kind of disappointed, but also kind of weirdly happy, because it sucks for everybody else who hasn't been able to pre-order a Switch. I pre-ordered it last year. I got it in exactly 1 year, maybe a little bit under it, but I have the Switch Compact Sport, and I was able to get it out the door. As you can see, they start at $27,899. This is what I was able to get mine out the door. Now there's a surcharge of $1,400, and these are going to be in the $35,000 to $38,000 range for most dealerships. So one thing to note is you're not going to be able to get these cheap anymore. They used to be $23.99 out the door, but I had a $3,000 freight fee, which also was a commodity charge kind of lifted in there, and that's dealership wise. But yeah, so 170 horsepower, Coral Blast. Let's just open mine up. Yeah, $27,899. This is what I was pretty much able to get mine out the door with. I think it was an additional $1,000, but yeah, that's crazy. These are going to be $35,000 to $40,000 depending on the dealership and taxes that you get. So that's wild. So that's the updates with Seadoo. Kind of disappointed, kind of happy in some ways, because actually I didn't know if I was going to keep the Switch for the year and over the winter, and then also, keep it beyond Labor Day. I was thinking maybe to get it, use it, and sell it if I didn't like it. But now I believe I'm just going to keep it for the year and then into next year. If they do happen to mention the Spark X next year, I will be purchasing that. And I'll put a couple more videos out with my Sparks, but I've been trying to really get on the Switch as much as I can because it is new, it is exciting, and holy crap, you get questioned on the water all the time. So, yeah, that's the 2023 Seadoo lineup. And if anybody has any comments or questions or anything like that about what they like or what they don't like about the newest items that Seadoo came out with, keep me posted. But so far, 2022 was pretty nice with the Switch. 2023 was a major disappointment when it came to any announcements on new machines other than the touring ski. I can't even think of the name of it, Explorer Pro. So kind of like a GTI, but, loaded up a little bit. That's pretty much it. So anyways, hope you guys liked the video, and subscribe if you want more content like this. Keep an eye out for me on the water. I plan on going out with a lot more Switch videos, and including some fishing ones, which I got requested. So we'll see you on the water, guys. Take it easy.